Hey, this is Café con Leche. Welcome back to our channel.
Today is going to be another story time about our sketchy taxi ride to Trinidad, Cuba.
Yeah.
So we got in Havana and we ultimately wanted to go to Trinidad, Cuba, so we had to take a taxi ride. And first day...
Yeah, originally we didn't know that we were going to take the taxi ride. We were kind of trying to take the bus, the Via Azul bus.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to the station and it turns out that the bus was full. They didn't have any seats.
So before we got into the station, this guy was like, oh, come take my taxi, blah, blah, blah. And we already had a long, stressful, sketchy day. So we were like, no, we're just going to look at the bus. He was like, okay, but here's my card just in case.
We already almost got snatched in the airport.
So...
If you want to refer back to our first video for that story.
So the bus was full, so we're like, dang, we're going to have to take his taxi because we don't have anything else. So the next day we call him. We're like, okay, this and this and that. Pick us up at this time. First of all, we was late.
Yeah.
This is what really happened. This is why it was so sketchy. First, he's like, okay, you're going to be riding with 3 other people. Mm-hmm. So we're like, oh, perfect.
So we're going to pick you up at, let's say 12. Let's say it was like 12.
Yeah.
So we were hungry and we were about to take a, 4-hour taxi ride?
Yeah, and we didn't eat breakfast yet. So I think we left the house at like 11:45.
Yeah, we did.
We tried it.
Because it was right down the street. So we were like, okay, we'll just pick it up and take it.
Right. We were like, they're just going to make quick breakfast. We sat down. We had a pina colada or two. we was eating our breakfast. It's 11. And we're thinking, oh, they're not going to be on time. No.
He was on time.
He left us.
Yeah. So then we get back and they're like, oh, somebody was looking for you. Like our Airbnb host. And so we call him and he has like an attitude with her. And he's like, well, I'm picking some other people up. I'm going to slide back around and pick them up. So tell them to be outside.
So, we wait. Finally, he's outside. We get to the car. We put the stuff in the car. And we're like...
He got a real nice car.
Nice.
Like, leather interior, black leather.
Like, you don't only drive taxis. Okay. What you really do.
In Cuba, he had leather interior, air conditioning. The outside was white. It was clean.
Yeah. And I was taking pictures of his license plate because he already know. I was like,
I actually can show you guys probably a video of the back of his head because she sent it to my mom.
I took a picture of that too.
911 Tina again.
And we get in the car and we're like, where's the other people? And he's like, well, y'all was late, so they already went. And we're like, okay. So we're talking to him. We're talking.
He parks and he's like, wait a minute, I'm gonna go do something.
No,
like, he takes us to a neighborhood.
He takes us. Okay, so we passed the taxi place that we went to the day before. He passes it, parks in the neighborhood, like on the street, on the neighborhood, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go find you your taxi driver. So we're like,
no, but he didn't even tell us that. He didn't tell us he was going to find us a taxi driver. He was like, I'm going to go do something. We didn't even know what he was going to go do.
Oh, okay. So then we were like, okay. So we're sitting in the car.
Bianca, this was so funny. Bianca.
Waiting.
I was scared, but I wasn't thinking. I wasn't letting my mind go anywhere. But Bianca's mind was all the way.
It was 15 minutes. I'm like, something's up. This ain't right. Like, why is he still
what
not
is he
here?
doing? So then when she starts saying that, I'm starting to think like, oh, he's negotiating how much we cost.
Yeah, he's like, I got a white one and I got a chocolate one. Which one you want? Like best of both worlds.
Yeah,
how much you want for it? And I'm just in my head, I'm like, nope. So I started going through his car. I don't care. I'm going through his glove department.
She's like, look
I'm
back.
Going through everything. I'm like, look out the window for me. Make sure he's not coming. She's like, you look like a thief. I was like, I don't care because if I find a gun in this car, like it's over. Like it's over.
She's
I'm
like,
trying to find all these things.
She's in the middle compartment and she's like, he has a bag.
I was like, he has a bag, and I'm like trying to get.
We fucking with coke dealers out here. Oh my god, she's checking like everything.
And at this point, I'm like, oh, our bags are in the trunk. I'm like, pop the trunk, and she's like, no. I'm like, I should pop the trunk.
Let me tell you the part that really got me. We said a prayer, like we joined hands in prayer. She prayed.
I was like, Jesus. Please, like I said a whole prayer. I was like, and then after the prayer, after I'm done freaking out and I said the prayer, I'm like,
She stops.
Nah,
and then she's like,
he ain't gonna take us.
and then that's when you started talking about, she was like, no, we good. He's not gonna take us. God's not gonna let that happen. Couple minutes later, she's like, and I truly believe, I'm a believer. So then a couple seconds later, she's like, Astrid, let's get the bags out the trunk. And I was like, oh my God, that's God talking through Bianca. Get the bags out the trunk. Let's go. So then
I'm like, pop the trunk. And she's like, did we pop the trunk and take the bag?
We didn't, but you were about to get out when he started walking back.
Oh, I was outside.
Yeah.
I was outside waiting. And then he was walking back and I'm like, what took you so long? Where were you? Like,
she did. She literally asked him. She was like, why did you take so long?
Because in my head, I'm like, okay, if you're looking for a taxi driver, why wouldn't you go with us inside?
Yeah.
Like, why leave us in the car?
And then he was like, well, I had to find you guys a taxi driver. It wasn't my fault. I had a taxi for you guys, but you guys were late and, so forth. All
the stuff like that. And then he has the taxi driver with us. And I'm looking at the taxi driver sideways like,
He brings this another guy that I don't know who he is. And he's like, he's taking you.
It don't work like that over here.
And I was like,
who is he?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so how do I know he's really
exactly.
a taxi driver?
So at this point, the other guy senses like we're like freaking out. So he starts pulling out all his credentials.
Yeah, he does.
Stuff.
He showed it to us, but then again, I was like, okay,
I was like, this is plastic.
Yeah, $9.99
and all stuff like that. And then here goes the other guy. If anything happens, call me.
He did. He gave me his card, and I literally told him to his face. I was like, yeah, from the back of the trunk.
Right.
If I make it. And he was like,
call you from the people you sold us to?
And the neighbors are like across the street from the top of their house. You know how it is on the islands. Like they're on the, the little porch or whatever. And they're like, oh, these two, they're not leaving Cuba without getting married. And then he's like, yeah, they talk too much.
Oh, but wait, let me tell you about the one that was giving us a ride.
I already knew she was
the one that picked us up from our Airbnb. He was all over that. Okay. He was like, call me when you get back. Did he give you his number?
Is you done or is you finished?
I think he gave her his number. He was like, call me when you get back. I'll take you out on a date.
He did.
All this stuff like that. Like, he was like so... And I seen the way he was looking at Asher, too. And I'm looking at him like... But... Is he gonna put me in a taxi or no?
You done now. So basically, he told the neighbors that we talk too much and we ask too many questions. He said, nah, they not getting married. They ain't getting trouble.
He was like, not with that mouth.
Not with that mouth on him. But anyways, so he puts us in the taxi and we go.
But when we got in the taxi, the first thing I was looking for was the door handle, like handles for the door to open
She was
the
like
door.
testing the door handle.
And at first I was like, this car don't got no handles on it. No, we're not getting in it. But then I wasn't looking close enough because it was like an old school car. So it had handles. So I was like, okay. But when we were driving, one thing that made me feel very, very like safe, when we were driving, there was officers on the roads checking the taxis.
Checking that they were real taxis.
To make sure they're legit.
That's cool.
So then after that, I was like, oh, okay, I could fall asleep.
Yeah, she fell asleep. She missed all the different times we almost died on that road because he had some type of like thrill-seeking, adventure-seeking personality where he was like...
He was like, oh no, he's just doing this for the fun now. He was bored.
My heart was on the floor a couple times and Bianca was like...
I was knocked out because all that stress, all that anxiety, it makes me tired, you know?
Right. Yeah. But I didn't sleep through the whole thing. But anyways, so at the end of it all, we love him.
Yeah, he was so nice.
Yeah.
We got there and we were like, we don't have an Airbnb for Trinidad because Airbnb, the website is blocked in Cuba. Like, you have to book it while you're in the United States. You can't book it while you're in Cuba.
And it's difficult because you don't know what time you're going to be in places. You don't know, you don't know anything coming from here to Cuba. You don't really know a lot. So it was difficult, but anyways,
and he's the one who put us in who put us in the Airbnb with the really nice people and the host. And the one that we recommended in our first video, he's the one who was like, okay, I have people for you. Yeah. And on our way back to Havana, we called him too, and he put us in an Airbnb too. So he was really
put us
nice.
in an Airbnb twice, and they were good Airbnbs. The one in Trinidad was amazing, and he like had her cell phone number, so he really hooked it up.
Yeah, he was very, very nice.
Yeah. So, Senor Dago is his name.
Oh, you remember his name?
Yeah.
Oh, you good. I didn't even remember his name.
Yeah, but he was real nice and everything. And if I ever went back to Cuba or anybody
I would recommend
him.
Yeah. His car didn't have AC, but it was okay.
Yeah,
I got over that.
It really wasn't that bad. It wasn't. And it was a 4-hour ride, and he only charged us $30 for the whole ride. Good. Yeah, so. Yeah.
So that was our time.
It was really sketchy though, y'all. Like
that we had the sketchy taxi ride to Trinidad Cuba.
That taxi driver couldn't have been just doing taxi rides.
That's what I was thinking.
It was black leather.
And then rewind back to the beginning when he picked us up. He was like, oh, he was acting Astray where she wasn't what I was. And she was like, oh, I'm Puerto Rican. And I was like, oh, I'm Haitian. He was like, oh, I do business with Haitians.
Oh, yeah. And he had a phone. He had a phone full.
You don't sell clothes,
numbers.
baby. You sell something else. And that's why I was freaking out. I was like, he don't sell clothes. He sells people. We need to find out what he's doing. That's why I was freaking out in the beginning.
I got a nice, fresh Haitian papaya right here. Okay. Fresh.
With that bomb back.
Chiquita fresh, girl.
I hate
you. Anyways, that was the time that we took a super sketchy taxi ride to
Trinidad Cuba.
Yep. In a foreign country by yourselves.
Thank you for watching. If you want more story times, well, I don't know if we have any more story times after this, but if you want more videos, like, comment, and subscribe. See you on our next one.
Bye.
Bye.